Before I get into today's video, I would like to personally welcome all the new subscribers I've gained over the past 48 hours due to my Scream 6 review. I'm very proud to be the voice of the fandom once again because let's face it, at some point somebody has to speak up for us. I also appreciate all the people who didn't agree with my assessment of Scream 6, but still gave level-headed responses. That's what it's all about. We need to bring back healthy film discussion in a big way. As for the rest of you, the trolls, bots, and NPCs losing their mind over a film opinion, please seek help as you continue to yell into the void. If you are looking for a channel that's going to tell you everything you want to hear exactly the way you want to hear it, I assure you there are many of them for you to choose from. But me, I will continue to be here doing what I do best, and that's providing honest and objective film criticism like only I can. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
Where are they? They're dead. Alright, can I go now?
Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
So for those of you that are new to the channel, I do a series of videos looking at the most ridiculous reviews on sites like Rotten Tomatoes. And as soon as I saw that Scream 6, the worst Scream movie to date, had a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, you know I had to do a film criticism is dead video on the subject. I mean, they're practically begging me to do it, right?
Come on. Do it. Do it!
Funny thing is, within the past couple of days, I actually had people using Scream 6's Rotten Tomatoes score to try to invalidate my opinion in some way. But that only really works if a Rotten Tomatoes score holds any legitimacy to you. And I assure you, for me and a lot of other people, it holds none.
No, don't like that.
And why is that, do you ask? Because it's a flawed system. It's a corrupt system at times. It's misleading and oftentimes not a good gauge of a film's quality. The truth is that if you actually go through and read a lot of the reviews, most of them sound negative but are spun into a positive or a fresh rating. Like Brian Truitt's review from the USA Today that states, "With the pedal to the metal when it comes to nasty kills, 6 is an improvement overall on the last installment. However, the new film struggles to mine clever new ground." First of all, we need to stop this narrative that's being spun that Scream 6 has the nastiest and most brutal kills in the franchise. As many people pointed out in my comment section, and a fact that I happen to agree with, Scream 4's kills were much more brutal than anything that happens in this movie.
Oh, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
Also, saying Scream 6 is an improvement over Scream 5 is not the flex that you think it is. Because literally anything would have been an improvement over Scream 5. Yet somehow they still managed to make something worse. You figure it out. Brian does say one factual thing in this review, however, and that's that it fails to mine clever new ground. And that should be one of the biggest reasons to not give this movie a positive rating. Because it does in fact cover a lot of familiar ground. Scream 2. Excuse me.
You snotty little bastard.
Which is kind of curious considering Scream 6 was promoted to us as being very different than any other Scream movie we've seen before. Once again, similar to Scream 5, we have yet another misleading trailer. With so much misdirection going on in modern Scream movies, you have to start to wonder what they are hiding. Maybe they're hiding that they're out of ideas. And maybe they are not as innovative as they claim to be. Something to think about. Next we have Megan Navarro from Bloody Disgusting, a top critic on Rotten Tomatoes, who says, "This slasher sequel lets a ruthless Ghostface loose in the city, slicing up an intense, flawless entry that continues the streak of insightful introspection, while escalating the thrills, kills, humor, and heart to a breathless degree."
A what?
How boring is this lady's life that she thought Scream 6 was intense and exciting? Okay, I kid. I know it's all subjective. But the question is, does she really believe that? Or does she work for a horror website that needs exclusives to the next Scream movie? You have to ask these questions. Yes, Scream is known for its dark humor and insightful introspection, neither of which Scream 6 was all that great at executing. It tried, but it ultimately failed. In fact, this is probably the least humorous, least meta Scream to date.
Why?
Now some people may have wanted that, but I would respond and tell those people then to go watch another slasher movie. Because without those things, these movies cease to be Scream movies. Hence why I said in my review that the charm from this movie is almost completely absent. And I love it when people respond to that and say, oh, you just want everything to be the same. You don't like change. Wrong. What I want is for new creatives to abide by the rules established in the sandbox that they now play in. If you can do that and somehow still create something fresh, then you might be a competent writer.
That makes sense.
If you have to rely on gimmicks like shotguns and new locations like New York City to make your movies feel different, then you might be going about things in the wrong way. Also, while we're at it, Megan mentions the ruthless nature of this Ghostface. How ruthless is he exactly when he has at least 3 notable characters dead to rights, and yet still doesn't find a way to finish them off?
S-O-F capital T. Soft. Huh?
Now, I agree that's the writer's fault for giving most of these characters, including all of the core 4, very strong plot armor. But that doesn't make your Ghostface look all that formidable in the long run. A major YouTube channel even compared this Ghostface to the Ghostface in Scream 1, saying that they are very similar as it pertains to their demeanor and their physicality.
I don't know about all that.
Now, if you've been watching the Scream franchise for an extended period of time, like I have, you would know that these movies have completely changed Ghostface from what he was originally intended to be. See, I remember Ghostface when he was a regular person, in a mask with flaws, who made mistakes. It's what made the character unique from all the other slashers of that time. And these new movies have completely disregarded that aspect of the character.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Except in Scream 6 when the reveal happens and we see who Ghostface really is, and suddenly all of those characters are inept against the unhinged girl power of Sam. Convenient for the plot and completely inconsistent with the character in every way. But sure, this Ghostface is just like the Ghostface from Scream 1. Please give me a break. Next we have Mike McGranahan from the aisle seat, who says, series star Neve Campbell is absent this time. No insult intended, but the film doesn't need her. Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega have the charisma and appeal to fill her shoes. In what world, Mike? Melissa Barrera, no insult intended, has the charisma of a wet paper bag.
Ha ha, very funny, motherfucker.
Do you know how many people told me I didn't like Scream 6? For the sole reason that Neve Campbell wasn't involved with it, even after my review, which I clearly state that she's much better off not being involved with this shit. You see, people are quick to tell you to let it go and stop talking about Neve Campbell. Yet those same people constantly feel the need to bring her up as a way of trying to make her look less important just to build up the new leads. Well, if you have to do that, then your new leads aren't as great as you think they are they? They can't stand on their own 2 feet, so let's bring Neve into the conversation to prop them up.
Oh, there's a big surprise!
By the way, anyone who hurls any kind of insults at Neve Campbell, Wes Craven, or anyone involved with the original Scream franchise doesn't deserve to call themselves Scream fans. You are casuals at best. The reality is that Melissa and Jenna wouldn't have a space to operate in if it wasn't for all of those people. So in the future, try showing just a little bit of respect.
Put some effort into it!
But why would they do that when the people involved in writing these movies, as well as the studio heads who are handing out checks, set a precedence for how to treat people like Neve Campbell that made this franchise what it is today? Because we can't expect people to start thinking for themselves. If Hollywood says they don't need Neve Campbell anymore, then everyone's going to go along with it. In reality, I think Neve Campbell doesn't need the bullshit that Scream now offers.
Not in my movie.
Now this is just a small taste of the garbage opinions found on Rotten Tomatoes, and some great examples of why no one should ever listen to a single word written on that website. Every single review, every single letter has a slant to it, designed to influence people who don't know any better to go and watch a movie of their choosing. This is why Rotten Tomatoes scores are still heavily promoted on TV ads for movies, because the normies still use that rating to decide whether or not they're going to the movies or not. Listen, if you're a regular person who enjoyed this movie, great, I'm happy for you. My opinion shouldn't ruin the experience for you if you like it that much, or if you have a shred of self-confidence. But one thing I have zero tolerance for hear is people using a Rotten Tomatoes score to try to dismiss my opinion. Maybe, just maybe, learn to hear a difference of opinion, learn to have normal conversations about film without being a troll, and most importantly, never confuse expressing valid criticism with being toxic or negative. Because the people who want better for this franchise deserve to have their voices heard and acknowledged just like everybody else, even if their opinions don't match the majority.
Y'all be cool. Right on.